President Cyril Ramaphosa is confident an infrastructure-led economic recovery plan will accelerate future growth in South Africa. The president addressed the Sustainable Infrastructure Development Symposium today. It's a platform to explore partnerships between the public and private sector while promoting investment opportunities in infrastructure. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge joining us now live from the Sandton Convention Center here in Johannesburg. What's the latest this hour you can tell us about what's been discussed there? Siphamandla, good afternoon.
Afternoon indeed. It's all about infrastructure development and how to use infrastructure development to boost the ailing economy. What is being discussed currently is that you will have groups and commissions that are discussing a way forward as to how can South Africa utilize and capitalize on infrastructure development to ensure that it's able to boost its ailing economy. We all know that South African economy has been struggling even before COVID-19. So earlier on today, we had President Cyril Ramaphosa delivering his speech here, which was more of a reflection of what has been done, touching on various projects, that is infrastructure projects in the country. But, you know, the biggest takeaway from this is that the country or the government is trying to find ways to stimulate economic growth using massive infrastructure development. We are talking about massive infrastructure projects in this case. So this year is the second year that such a symposium is being held here in Sandton Convention Center in Gauteng. Last year, the focus was on the impact of COVID-19 and how it had disrupted economies around the world from growing. So this year, they've moved beyond that point. Everyone is accepting that COVID-19 is here and we need to find ways of growing the economy in the midst of COVID-19. President Ramaphosa going at length there to give a detailed report of what he calls a progress report regarding some of the infrastructural projects that have been undertaken in the country and those that are still in the pipelines. Let's take a listen to him.
A number of projects, as Minister DeLille was saying, are also underway throughout the country. Now, many of our people in this country often say, where are these infrastructure projects? We don't see them. They are underway. And last year we spoke about projects amounting to about 340 or so billion rand, and I think Dr. Ramaphosa will outline the greater details. Now, a number of those are now under implementation. A good 33% of them, amounting to about 119 billion rand rather, are already underway. They are already in construction, about to get into construction, or at the tender stage, meaning that there is progress and we are moving ahead. Just a few days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I visited the Msikaba Bridge near Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape, which forms part of the N2 Wild Coast Road project. A massive project that is being funded, yes, by our government through SANDRAL, and SANDRAL is doing amazing work.
Siphamandla, what did the president have to say about diversifying the economy?
He has said a lot, saying going green is the way to go. All other countries in the world are going green, and there are environmental benefits apart from economic spin-offs that are derived from going green. So he was saying that it's time South Africa takes serious the issue of going green and diversifying the economy in order to ensure that, on the other hand, it meets its target when it comes, or its targets rather, when it comes to the issue of climate change, fighting climate change, and dealing with protecting the environment, saying the economy can play a huge role in that regard. Let's take a listen to him.
One of the new frontiers of infrastructure development is green energy, which has the potential not only to drive industrialization, but to establish a whole new industrial reality. And what is evolving in our country now is that more and more we are going ahead of the curve. We're not being reactive because the world landscape has changed. If you don't embrace green energy, if you don't respond to the climate change process that's underway in the world, you are left behind. I'm rather pleased that our infrastructure developments are now going ahead of this curve of embracing the climate change narrative and debate and making sure that it is very much a part of what we are doing. And through this, a new world is opening to all of us. New technologies, new ways of doing things, and it's wonderful to hear as we develop infrastructure projects, to hear people talk about we're building this on a green basis, this is a green building, and so on and so on. And to also hear industrialists and many big companies and small saying that as we produce these products, we have underpinned everything that we now do on the basis of green approaches, green energy, and our products are now becoming more and more green.
It seems, Siphamandla, like the President has a vision of how this can accelerate economic growth.
Indeed, he does. He says there is political will, there is that vision, but he was so quick to concede that one of the most pressing challenges is the issue of financial resources. In order for the government to ensure that these massive infrastructural development projects are realized, you need money for that. You need investment to invest in what he calls quality infrastructure projects, and that costs a lot of money. You know, one of the presenters here, or one of the speakers, made an example here, giving examples about how countries such as China and countries in the EU and the United States of America have invested trillions when it comes to massive infrastructural projects, saying South Africa will need to do the same as well. But President Ramaphosa is of the view that if implemented successfully, this has got a potential to turn around the country's economy. Let's listen to him.
It does happen that countries do fall behind when it comes to infrastructure. Even countries as big as the United States, which is the biggest economy in the world, have found recently that they have fallen behind when it comes to infrastructure. And it is for this reason that even President Biden has committed a lot of resources in infrastructure. We may not have as much resources as they have, but we have the vision, we have the will, we have the intent to ensure that infrastructure becomes, yes, as Minister DeLille says, the flywheel of our economy, so that it fuels and powers our economic growth.
A confident president there in terms of the role of infrastructure, sustainable infrastructure development, firing up our economy. We're going to have to leave it there for now. Siphamandla, thank you very much for that update there from the Sandton Convention Centre. Siphamandla Goge there with the latest. Now.